Hello everyone, I am Fabiana Marquez and I'm going to talk about drugs in the Victorian era. Initially, there are two definitions that we have to keep in mind to start. First, the Victorian era is the period that took place in the United Kingdom, which began in 1837 when Victoria I came to the throne and ended in 91 when she died. Second, drugs are habit-forming, illegal substances, and chemicals used in medicine for the treatment of disease. In the well-known age of compromise, the drug taking was a significant part of the history because its potency and its plurality. That means that it affected all social classes. Until 1868, the sale of drugs was unrestricted. That means that everyone could buy them in any corner of the city, including pharmacies and chemist stores. And then the people could have self-experimentation. Drugs taken were considered mundane by reason of most people using them in order to fight common complaints of cold, gout, and fatigue. Well, the main drugs taken in the Victorian era were first laudanum, which was a popular mixture of the opium derivatives and alcohol, then alcohol obviously, barbiturates and depressants, and the most famous one, opium, which was also the cheapest one. Those drugs took an important role inside society because the common citizens were characterized for being too poor and for having a hard life. So the people thought that using drugs could help them to feel a space or to escape from the reality. And not only industry workers were very famous for those actions, drug taking were very common among writers, and it got represented by the literature and the art of the period. That's why people link the drug taking with the emergence of that dark detective genre that we know in the actuality. Some famous writers were Lewis Carroll. Some say that the inspiration of Alice in Wonderland came from hallucinations. Edgar Allan Poe suffered from opium and alcohol addiction. Charles Dickens and Wilkie Collins were laudanum addicts, and some say that Oscar Wilde abused opium. Well, I would like to talk about the picture of Dorian Gray to illustrate what I was saying. I found a quote inside this book that says, "There were opium dens where one could be oblivion, dens of horror where the memory and the old sins could be destroyed by the madness of sin that were new." It was said by Dorian when he was visiting an opium den of London. He was looking for the pleasure of life, the joy of the hedoniums, etc. And we can also find a lot of examples of Edgar Allan Poe and from even female writers that talk a lot about drugs because that was very common. That was part of the culture. As a conclusion, those accounts of drugs abuse during the 19th century have an important role inside of our 21st century society because two reasons. First, the main one is because now we can treat in a professional way the drug addiction. And the second one, which is my personal opinion, I consider that this drug addiction influenced artists to create some masterpiece that we can even enjoy today. Thanks for watching, and you, what do you think?